Jiwoo stood on the bridge of his warship and watched the alien ships come closer to Earth. There were so many of them. Hundreds of massive vessels filled the space around the planet. They came without warning. They did not try to talk. They just started shooting at the space stations where people lived and worked. HFY looked at her computer screen. Her hands shook a little. She had bad news to report. Station Harmony was gone. 2,000 people died in just a few seconds. The alien weapons were powerful. The station did not have a chance. It just exploded into pieces of metal and fire. The aliens called themselves the Valkyrie. They had been watching Earth for many months. They saw that humans had just learned how to travel between stars. The Valkyrie thought humans were weak. They thought Earth would be easy to take. They made a big mistake. 3 days before, the Valkyrie attacked the Mars colony. 50,000 people lived there. They were miners and their families. They had children and schools and homes. The aliens killed everyone. They bombed the colony until nothing was left. Then they went to the moon. They destroyed Luna City too. Thousands more people died. Now the Valkyrie were at Earth. They thought they could finish the job. They thought humans would surrender or die. They did not understand what they had done. They did not know that humans had been preparing for this day for thousands of years. Every human who looked at the stars wondered the same thing. What if someone bad comes from space? What if aliens want to hurt us? Humans made plans. They built weapons. They trained soldiers. They were ready. Jiwoo spoke into his radio. His voice was calm but cold. He talked to all the human ships in the area. There were not as many ships as the aliens had. But that did not matter. He gave the order to attack. He told his people to show the aliens what happens when you attack Earth. Tae Yang was a fighter pilot. He sat in his small combat ship waiting for the order. When it came, he smiled. It was not a happy smile. He remembered the people who died on Mars. He remembered the children who would never grow up. The Valkyrie would pay for what they did. Kyung-soo worked in the engine room. He was an engineer. For 3 days he did not sleep. He pushed the ship's power systems beyond their limits. The weapons charged faster. The engines ran hotter. Everything was ready. He told Jiwoo that the ship could fight at 140% power. That meant the weapons were much stronger than normal. The battle started. Human ships fired their railguns. These weapons shot pieces of metal very fast. The metal moved at 12% of the speed of light. When the metal hit the alien ships, it went right through their shields. The Valkyrie shields were made to stop energy weapons like lasers. They could not stop physical objects moving so fast. The aliens were confused. Their shields should have worked. They had the best shields in the galaxy. But human weapons were different. Humans had spent 10,000 years fighting each other. They knew every way to kill. They knew what worked and what did not. Their weapons were simple but deadly. Alien ships started to explode. The Valkyrie commanders could not believe it. They had more ships. They had bigger ships. They had better technology. But they were losing. The humans fought like nothing they had ever seen before. Tae Yang flew his fighter through the battle. Missiles chased him. Laser beams tried to hit him. But he moved too fast. He had trained his whole life for this. Humans learned to fly in 3 dimensions. They played games in zero gravity. They practiced combat in simulators. Space was not strange to them. It was just another place to fight. One by one, the Valkyrie ships fell. Human missiles found their targets. Human railguns punched holes through alien hulls. The space around Earth filled with debris and fire. Bodies floated in the darkness. Most of them were aliens. The Valkyrie tried to retreat. Their commander sent a message asking for mercy. He said they would leave and never come back. He begged the humans to stop shooting. Jiwoo heard the message. He thought about the people on Mars who also begged for mercy. The aliens did not listen. He thought about the families on Luna City who died in their sleep. They never had a chance to surrender. He thought about the 2,000 souls on Station Harmony. They just disappeared in a flash of light. HFY looked at Jiwoo. She waited for his decision. Should they show mercy? Should they let the aliens go? Jiwoo was quiet for a moment. Then he gave his answer. He told his ships to let some of the alien vessels escape, not because he felt sorry for them, but because he wanted them to tell others what happened. He wanted the whole galaxy to know. Earth was not weak. Humans would not surrender. Anyone who attacked humanity's home would die. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, most of the Velkari fleet was destroyed. 200 ships came to Earth, only 17 escaped. Those 17 ships ran away as fast as they could. They sent messages to other aliens. The messages said to stay away from Earth. The messages said humans were dangerous. The messages said the Velkari made a terrible mistake. The human ships stayed near Earth. They guarded the planet. They waited to see if more aliens would come. The crews were tired but ready. They had won their first battle in space, but they knew it would not be the last. On Earth, people celebrated. They cried for the dead. They honored the heroes. They rebuilt the stations that were destroyed. And they built more weapons, many more weapons. If the Velkari came back, they would find Earth even more ready than before. Across the galaxy, aliens heard about the battle. They learned about the humans who destroyed a powerful empire's fleet. They learned about the weapons that went through shields. They learned about the fighters who moved like nothing they had seen before. Some aliens were curious. Some were afraid. Some started making plans. The Velkari survivors reached their homeworlds. They told their leaders what happened. The leaders did not want to believe it. How could primitive humans defeat their mighty fleet? But the proof was clear. The ships that came back were damaged. Many crew members were dead. The survivors had fear in their eyes. One Velkari officer spoke to his commander. He said the humans were not like other species. They did not panic. They did not run away. They fought with skill and anger. They wanted revenge for their dead. The officer said the Velkari should never go near Earth again, but the warning came too late. The message was already spreading. Earth was now known to the galaxy. Humans were no longer an unknown species on a distant planet. They were warriors who defended their home with deadly force. The galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Council met in their great chamber. This building had stood for 6,000 years. It had seen many important meetings. But today was different. Today everyone was afraid. 47 different alien species sent their representatives. They all talked at the same time. Their voices mixed together. Translation machines tried to make sense of the chaos. But it was too much. Everyone wanted to speak. Everyone had opinions about what happened at Earth. An alien named Threx stood up. He was from a species called the Kelon. He had 4 eyes and they all showed fear. He shouted to be heard over the noise. He said the Velkari Empire was a Tier 3 civilization. That meant they were very advanced. They had conquered 12 star systems. How could humans destroy them so easily? High Counselor Mara tried to calm everyone down. Mara was not like other beings. She was made of pure energy. She had lived for thousands of years. She had seen many wars and many peaceful times. But even she seemed worried now. She said they needed to understand these humans. They were different from any species the galaxy had known. A human woman walked to the center of the chamber. Her name was Da-Yoon. She worked for Earth's government. She was the first human to ever speak to the Galactic Council. Many aliens did not want her there. They thought humans were too violent, too dangerous, but she had the right to speak. Da-Yoon looked around the chamber. She saw fear in many eyes. She saw anger in others. She spoke clearly and calmly. She said the Velkari made first contact with weapons. They did not try to talk. They just started killing. They bombed Mars. They destroyed Luna City. They killed thousands of humans. Under any reasonable law, Earth had the right to defend itself. Threx became angry. He said defense was different from total destruction. The humans did not just push the Velkari away. They obliterated the entire fleet. The Velkari survivors told stories about weapons that ignored shields. They talked about human tactics that seemed to come from centuries of war. What kind of species developed such things? Daeon's face did not change. She explained that humans learned the value of peace because they knew the cost of war. Humans fought each other for 10,000 years. They nearly destroyed their own planet many times. They made terrible weapons. They killed millions of their own people. Every lesson was written in blood. She continued speaking. When the Velkari attacked, they did not face a naive species. They faced all the knowledge humans gained from those 10,000 years of war. They faced weapons and tactics that were tested in countless battles. They faced survivors who knew how to fight. The whole chamber became quiet. The truth of her words settled over everyone like a heavy blanket. These humans had been warriors long before they reached the stars. They knew how to kill because they had practiced on each other for millennia. Another human spoke. His name was Jae-hyun. He was in charge of Earth's military. He said something that made many aliens uncomfortable. He said the Galactic Council claimed to value life, but the Council did nothing when the Valkyrie conquered 12 systems. They watched while innocent people were enslaved. They did not help. Where was the Council then? Mara's energy field flickered. That meant she was surprised or upset. She said the Council did not interfere with the natural evolution of civilizations. They watched. They gave advice. But they did not fight wars. That was their way, Jae-hyun responded quickly. He said that made the Council responsible for the Valkyrie's crimes. By doing nothing, they let evil grow. Earth would not accept this. Humans would defend themselves. They would defend others who could not defend themselves. If that made humans look bad, they did not care. A human scientist named Yoonji brought up information on the big screens. She showed data about alien military technology. The data proved something interesting. Most species reached space travel and then stopped improving their weapons. They thought they were safe. They thought their technology was good enough. They were wrong. The screens showed charts and graphs. Human weapons were better. Human tactics were more advanced. Human ships were faster and deadlier. In every area of military power, humans were ahead, not because they were smarter, but because they never stopped preparing for war. Da-un spoke again. She said all the aliens in the Council were very advanced. They had amazing technology. They could do things humans could only dream about. But they forgot how to fight. They forgot that sometimes peace must be defended with force. The Valkyrie forgot this too. They saw humans with primitive ships and thought it would be easy. They were very wrong. Threx asked a question in a quiet voice. What did humans want from the Council? Why were they here? Were they going to threaten everyone? Jae-hyun smiled. It was not a warm smile. He said Earth wanted recognition. They wanted respect. They wanted the Council to remember that humans existed, and when the next aggressor appeared, and there would be more, the Council should remember that Earth was ready. Humans did not ask to be warriors. The universe made them that way. But now they could protect others who needed protection. Mara made a decision. Her energy pulsed with different colors. She said the Galactic Council recognized Earth and humanity. Their military power was noted. She hoped humans would never need to use it again. But everyone in the chamber knew that was unlikely. Da-un said humans hoped for peace too. But hope was not enough. Someone had to stand ready to defend the innocent. Earth would be that someone. The meeting ended. The aliens went back to their home worlds. They sent messages to their leaders. They warned their people about humans. Some said humans were dangerous. Others said humans were necessary. A few said humans might be the galaxy's salvation. Meanwhile, the Valkyrie survivors reached their borders. They told everyone they meant the same thing. Stay away from the Sol system. Do not threaten Earth. The humans are not what they seem. They look primitive, but they are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Word spread quickly through space. Ship captains shared the stories. Traders told tales in spaceports. Scientists studied the battle data. Everyone learned about the species that came from Earth. The species that nearly destroyed itself but survived. The species that turned their talent for war into a shield for others. On Earth, people watched the news from the Council meeting. They felt proud. They felt scared. They wondered what would happen next. Would more aliens attack? Would Earth have to fight again? Nobody knew. But they were ready. They would always be ready. The galaxy had changed. For 6,000 years, the Council kept peace through words and diplomacy. Now there was a new force. Humans did not keep peace with words. They kept peace with weapons and the willingness to use them. Some thought this was terrible. Others thought it was about time. The weak and helpless had a new hope. Earth would answer their calls. 6 months passed since the Valkyrie were defeated. Earth made friends with many alien species, but some aliens still did not trust humans. They thought humans were too violent. Then something happened that changed many minds. Hyunwoo commanded a small patrol ship called the Vigilant. His job was to watch Earth's borders in space. He made sure no enemies came close. One day, his radio received a weak signal. Someone was calling for help. The message was hard to understand, but the meaning was clear. A colony was under attack. Civilians needed rescue. The call came from a place called Sanctuary. It was home to 300,000 aliens called the Theron. The Theron were peaceful creatures. They ate plants. They never fought wars. They never hurt anyone. That made them perfect targets for slavers. The Draken were bad aliens who captured other species and sold them as slaves. They had been doing this for hundreds of years. Everyone knew about them. The Galactic Council knew about them. But nobody stopped them. The Draken were too powerful and too ruthless. Hyunwoo asked his navigator how far away Sanctuary was. Bora checked her computer. She said it was 42 light-years away. At maximum speed, they could get there in 6 hours. But then she said something else. She reminded Hyunwoo that humans were not supposed to fight in other species' wars. The council had rules about this. Hyunwoo did not care about the rules. Someone needed help. His ship was the only one close enough. He told his crew to forget the protocols. He told them to set a course for Sanctuary. He told them to prepare for battle. They were going to help whether the council liked it or not. The Vigilant flew through space faster than it was designed to go. The ship's computer warned them about the danger. But Hyunwoo pushed harder. Every minute counted. The Theron were being captured right now. Their families were being torn apart. He would not let that continue. When they arrived at Sanctuary, the scene was terrible. 5 big Dracon ships surrounded the colony. They used special beams to grab buildings and pull them apart. Theron civilians floated up toward the Dracon cargo holds. The Theron had small weapons, but they could not hurt the Draken shields. They were helpless. Sang-woo worked at the weapons station. He looked worried. He told Hyunwoo they were outnumbered 5-1. The Dracon ships were bigger. They had more weapons. This was going to be a hard fight. Hyunwoo smiled. He said the Dracon had never fought humans before. That was their weakness. He ordered Sang-woo to target the lead ship. He told him to fire everything they had. It was time to introduce the Dracon to human warfare. The Vigilant fired its railguns. Metal rods flew at 12% of light speed. They went right through the Dracon shields. The shields were made to stop lasers and plasma. They could not stop solid metal moving so fast. The lead ship's engines exploded. The huge vessel started falling toward the planet. The other Dracon ships turned to face this new threat. They fired all their weapons at the Vigilant. Lasers and missiles filled the space around Hyunwoo's ship. But he was ready. He had trained his whole life for this. The Vigilant dodged and weaved. It moved in ways the Draken could not predict. Human pilots learned to fly in 3 dimensions from childhood. They played games in zero gravity. They practiced in simulators. They flew aircraft in atmosphere. To them, space combat was natural. The Draken pilots were good, but they had never seen anything like this. Jisoo listened to the Draken radio signals. She translated what they were saying. The Draken were panicking. They called the Vigilant a demon ship. They said it moved impossibly fast. They were asking for help from other Draken ships in the area. Hyunwoo laughed. He said help would not save them. He told Sang-woo to target the Draken tractor beams. Those were the machines grabbing the Theron civilians. If they destroyed the beams, the people would be free. One by one, the Draken ships were destroyed. The Vigilant was smaller but faster and smarter. Human weapons found their targets. Human tactics confused the enemy. The battle was one-sided. The slavers had no chance against human technology and training. The last Draken ship tried to run away. Its captain sent messages in many languages. He was surrendering. He was begging for mercy. He promised to never come back. Hyunwoo did not accept the surrender. These were not soldiers defending their home. These were criminals who made money from suffering. They captured innocent beings and sold them like objects. They destroyed families. They ruined lives. They did not deserve mercy. The final Dracon ship broke into pieces under the Vigilant's weapons. The debris would orbit Sanctuary forever. It would be a reminder. It would be a warning. Anyone who tried to harm the Theron would meet the same fate. On Sanctuary, the Theron came out of their hiding places. They looked up at the sky. They could not believe what happened. They called for help with no real hope. Nobody ever answered before. But humans came. Humans crossed 42 light-years to save strangers. The colony leader sent a message to the Vigilant. His name was Vireth. He asked a simple question. Why did you come? We are not your people. We have nothing to give you in return. Why risk your lives for us? Hyunwoo sent his answer on all frequencies. Every listening station within 50 light-years could hear it. He said humans came because someone called for help. Humans came because it was the right thing to do. The galaxy had been waiting for someone to stand against predators like the Dracon. Earth would be that someone. Earth would always answer. News of the rescue spread across the galaxy very fast. People learned that humans traveled far to defend aliens they never met. They learned that a small human ship destroyed 5 slaver vessels. They learned that humans asked for nothing in return. They just helped because it was needed. The Galactic Council held emergency meetings. Some species were happy. They saw hope. Finally, someone was fighting against the criminals and slavers. Other species were worried. What would humans want for their protection? Would Earth try to control everyone? Still other aliens made plans. They saw opportunity. If humans would fight for free, maybe they could be used. Maybe they could be manipulated. These aliens would learn they were wrong. Across space, a new message spread among the weak and oppressed. If you cry for help, humans will hear you. If you are hunted, Earth will protect you. The age of slavers and predators operating freely was over. The hunters had become the hunted, and Earth was coming for them all. 1 year after the Velkari attacked Earth, everything was different. 37 alien species asked Earth for protection. They wanted human ships to guard their worlds. 12 other species said humans should stay in their own star system. They said humans were too dangerous. The Galactic Council could not decide what to do. They argued and debated but made no decisions. Admiral Minji stood in the command center on the moon. She looked at screens showing human ships across 40 different star systems. Earth built a fleet in just 1 year. A fleet that matched civilizations 10 times older. The construction happened so fast it scared many aliens. Sujin was Minji's assistant. She brought bad news. The council was demanding that humans stop building warships. They said Earth was becoming too powerful. They threatened to punish Earth with sanctions and restrictions. Minji smiled, but her smile was cold. She said the council could threaten all they wanted. Earth was not enslaving colonies. Humans were not conquering neighbors. Every ship they built protected someone weak from someone strong. That was all. The truth was that Earth could not stop building ships even if they wanted to. The distress calls kept coming. After Sanctuary was rescued, every oppressed species in the galaxy learned that humans would answer. They sent messages to Earth begging for help, and humans could not ignore them. Then something happened that changed everything. An empire called the Kavari invaded a star system called Selenar. The Selenar were complete pacifists. They evolved for millions of years without violence. They had no weapons, no military, no way to defend themselves. When Kavari warships appeared in orbit, the Selenar could only surrender. The Galactic Council held meetings. They formed committees. They wrote statements. But while they talked, the Kavari prepared to enslave 6 billion Selenar. The council was going to be too late. They always were. Earth did not waste time with meetings. Admiral Minji sent Battlegroup Hammer to Selenar. 12 human warships under Captain Dong Hyun. Their orders were simple. Protect the Selenar people. Stop the Kavari. When the human ships arrived, they found 30 Kavari vessels in orbit around Selenar Prime. The Kavari were charging their weapons. They were going to bomb the planet's surface. They were going to kill millions to make the others obey. Dong Hyun sent a message on all Kavari frequencies. He identified himself and his ship. He ordered the Kavari to leave immediately. He said Selenar was under Earth's protection. He said this was their only warning. The Kavari Emperor himself responded. His name was Vexthor. He had ruled for 300 years. Nobody ever successfully opposed him. He told the humans they were outnumbered. 30 ships against 12. They could not win. They should leave before they got hurt. Dong Hyun laughed. His laugh went across space on every channel. He said numbers did not matter. The Velkari had 200 ships and they lost. The Draken had every advantage and they died. All of them learned the same lesson. Humans do not lose. The battle started. It lasted 47 minutes. The human ships were smaller than the Kavari vessels, but they moved faster. They used tactics that came from centuries of human naval warfare. Missiles struck from unexpected angles. Railguns fired from impossible positions. Electronic attacks turned Kavari computers against their own ships. The Kavari had never lost a battle before. Their empire was built on conquest. They took what they wanted. Nobody stopped them. But humans were different. Humans knew every trick, every strategy, every way to kill. When the Kavari flagship tried to retreat, Dong Hyun stopped them. He said they came to conquer. They came to enslave. They came to destroy. Now they would stay and face the consequences. He did not let them run away. When the shooting stopped, 28 Kavari ships floated dead in space. Only 2 escaped. They ran away with damaged hulls and traumatized crews. Battle Group Hammer had minor damage to 3 ships. 0 human deaths. On Selenar Prime, 6 billion beings watched the battle. They had never seen violence before. It frightened them. But they were also grateful. Human ships formed a protective ring around their world. Captain Donghyun sent a message. He told the Selenar their nightmare was over. Earth would protect them. Anyone who wanted to hurt them would have to go through humans first. The rescue changed everything. Within weeks, 40 more species asked to join Earth's protection network. Even some former enemies joined. Former Velkari colonies broke away from the Empire. The Theron brought their friends. The Quilon changed their minds about humans. They all formed something new. They called it the Coalition of Free Worlds, 93 species working together. At the center was humanity, the species that learned war so well they could now guarantee peace. Yunji was Earth's top diplomat. She negotiated dozens of treaties. She worked day and night to create the rules for this new coalition. The framework was simple. Every member kept their independence. Nobody ruled over anyone else. The strong protected the weak. That was all. Ambassador Threx questioned Yunji during a council meeting. He asked what would happen if coalition members fought each other. What would Earth do then? Yunji's face became hard. She said Earth would remind them why they needed protection in the first place. The coalition did not tolerate predators. It did not matter where they came from. Anyone who tried to hurt others would be stopped. The Galactic Council faced a difficult choice. They could oppose Earth and risk war with the only military that could project power across multiple sectors, or they could accept the new reality. Humanity changed the galaxy in just 1 year. High Counselor Mara made the decision. She said the Council recognized the Coalition of Free Worlds. They acknowledged Earth as a stabilizing force, but she added a warning. She said she hoped humans remembered that power must be used wisely. Admiral Min-ji gave the response that defined Earth's position. She said humans had 10,000 years to learn about power. They had been both victims and villains. They knew what happened when power went unchecked. They had done terrible things to each other. That was why the Council could trust them, because humans knew what they were capable of, and they were terrified of becoming monsters. The galaxy entered a new age. The coalition grew stronger every day. Human ships patrolled vast areas of space. Pirates learned to fear Earth's flag. Slavers went out of business. Empires that conquered weaker species found themselves facing unified resistance. Not everyone was happy. Some species lost their power. Some lost their profits. Some lost their ability to bully others. But for the weak and oppressed, life became better. They could live without constant fear. They could raise their children in peace. They could build futures without worrying about invasion. Earth paid a price for this. Human ships were always in danger. Human soldiers died in battles far from home. Human families sacrificed their loved ones for aliens they never met. But most humans felt it was worth it. They remembered what the Velkari did. They remembered the fear and helplessness. They would not let others experience that if they could prevent it. 3 years passed since the Velkari attacked Earth. The galaxy found a new balance. The Coalition of Free Worlds included 93 different species. Human ships patrolled the borders between safe space and the dangerous frontier. Pirates and slavers feared the sight of Earth's symbol on a ship. But peace had a cost. Earth was starting to feel the weight of protecting an entire galaxy. President Ji-hoon stood before the United Nations Assembly. His face showed the strain of 3 years of constant war. He looked tired. He told the Assembly that Earth had lost 43 ships. 2,318 humans died in battles across the stars. He asked a hard question. Why were humans dying for species that were not their responsibility? The Assembly chamber was not united anymore. After the Velkari invasion, everyone agreed Earth should build a military. But now things were different. Earth's economy changed completely. Everything focused on military production. Taxes went up. Freedoms were limited. Young people were forced to join the military and fight in distant battles. Senator Ye Jin stood up to speak. She was angry and sad. Her daughter died at a battle near a star called Kepler 442. The girl was only 19 years old. She died defending aliens who did not even know Earth existed 5 years ago. Ye Jin asked how many more children had to die. The question hung in the air. Nobody wanted to answer. Admiral Minji had commanded every major battle in the past 3 years. She wore many medals and ribbons. Each one represented a battle won and lives saved. She stood to respond to the senator. Minji spoke quietly. She said she served with the senator's daughter at Kepler 442. The girl was on Minji's flagship when alien raiders broke through their defenses. The girl saved 200,000 beings from slavery. Her last words were that it was worth it. Minji thought about those words every single day. Minji showed a holographic map of the galaxy. Blue areas were coalition territory. White areas were free space. Red areas were controlled by empires that enslaved and conquered. 3 years ago, the red zones were everywhere. Now they had shrunk by 40%. She explained that 3 years ago, slave raids happened across 200 sectors of space. Species lived in constant fear.
Any day could bring invasion, enslavement, extinction. Today, those raids dropped by 93%.
Trillions of beings lived without that fear because Earth chose to act. General Young Ho spoke next. He commanded all of Earth's defense forces. He was a veteran of the Valkyrie War. He said both the senator and the admiral were asking the wrong question. This was not about whether humans should fight. It was about what kind of species humans wanted to be. He walked to the center of the chamber. Everyone paid attention when he spoke. He said humans always faced this choice throughout history. When the strong hurt the weak, did humans look away? Or did they act? Sometimes humans failed. Sometimes humans were the bad ones. But humanity's greatest moments came when they stood up for those who could not defend themselves. Young Ho continued. The Valkyrie taught humans that the galaxy was full of predators. The Draken taught them that some species saw others as property. The Kavari taught them that conquest was still considered acceptable. If Earth retreated now, if they abandoned the coalition, those lessons did not disappear. The predators would just find new victims. President Ji-hoon stepped forward. His decision was clear. He said the question was not whether to continue protecting others. The question was how to continue. Earth could not carry this burden alone anymore. The coalition had to change. Over 6 months, Earth's diplomats worked hard. They transformed the coalition from a protection service into a real alliance. Species that relied only on human protection started building their own defense forces. Humans trained them. They shared military knowledge freely. Weapons factories appeared on coalition worlds. The Selenar surprised everyone. They had never known violence. Their biology made them unable to hurt others. But an engineer named Kavath had an idea. He approached human military advisors. He said the Selenar could not fight, but they could build. If humans gave them ship designs, the Selenar would construct vessels. That would free humans to go home. Within 1 year, Selenar shipyards produced coalition vessels as fast as Earth's factories. Other species contributed too. The Theron had advanced sensors. They became the coalition's eyes and ears. The Kelon were mathematical geniuses. They revolutionized tactical computers. Every species added something valuable. The coalition changed from Earth's burden into humanity's greatest achievement. It proved that different species could unite without conquest. They worked together through mutual protection and respect. 5 years after first contact, the galaxy was completely different. Great empires that ruled through fear found their borders contested. Pirates faced organized resistance. Slavers went out of business. The Galactic Council competed with the coalition for influence and relevance. Commander Ji-woo, who won humanity's first victory against the Valkyrie, now commanded the coalition flagship Unity. His crew included 30 different species. Each brought unique strengths. The ship represented something never seen before in galactic history. During a routine patrol near the galactic frontier, they received a distress call. The call came from a species unknown to Earth or the coalition. They were called the Navari. They were under attack by the remnants of the Valkyrie Empire. The Valkyrie wanted revenge for their defeat 5 years ago. Ji-woo did not hesitate. He ordered his ship to set course at maximum speed. He did not need to think about it. Someone needed help. That was enough. Kavath, the Selenar engineer, pointed out a problem. They were 3 days away from the Navari system. By the time they arrived, the Navari might already be lost. Everyone might be dead. Ji-woo said if they were too late, they would avenge the Navari. They would make sure the Valkyrie never threatened anyone again, but he did not think it would come to that. He told Kavath to look at the sensors. Across the sector, coalition vessels changed course toward the Navary system. 7 different species, 53 ships, all responding to a cry for help from beings they never met. All following the example Earth set 5 years ago. The Valkyrie fleet expected an easy conquest. Instead, they found an armada. 93 species united by one principle: the strong protect the weak. The battle was over before it really began. The Valkyrie, who once thought themselves the apex predators of the galaxy, fled in terror from the coalition their aggression created. On Earth, President Ji-hoon received reports about the Navari rescue. He smiled for the first time in months. The cost had been high. Too high, some said, but humanity achieved something remarkable. They taught the galaxy to stand together. Admiral Minji was now Coalition Supreme Commander. She sent a message broadcast to all member worlds. She said Earth struck back when attacked, and the galaxy trembled in fear. But humans did not seek fear. They sought freedom. They wanted to ensure others could be free too. Today that dream was reality. The coalition stood united, and she had a warning for any who would threaten that unity. Remember what happened to the Valkyrie. Remember what happens when you attack those under coalition protection. The galaxy changed. Peace was no longer optional for predators. It was enforced. Humanity came to the stars expecting wonder and discovery. Instead, they found a galaxy that needed protectors. They answered that call, not because it was easy, because turning away was impossible for them. Their nature would not allow it. Earth struck back swiftly when attacked. The galaxy trembled in fear, but from that fear came respect. From respect came alliance. From alliance came something the galaxy had not known in thousands of years: hope. Real hope for a better future.